Hello. So I want to make a video to address my fears regarding the topic that I believe I'm Allah. So I've spoken about this before that I do believe I'm Allah. If you go and, really go down the rabbit hole here and look at all my videos and read all my posts on Twitter and read my books on my website or purchase my books, you'll start to understand me better. If you know more about me, you'll understand why I hold this belief and the fears that come with it. I don't really know what is actually going on, and I think most people don't really know what are going on in countries outside the United States if you are in the United States. I don't really know what's going on in the Middle East where I don't know what else to call it, where these Muslim countries, or what is the word, Islamic countries. I don't know what goes on there. All I know is that they take Islam to the extreme. Now, since I think I'm Allah, I view Islam as an interpretation of the Quran, not the Word of God. So if Islam is only an interpretation of the Quran and not the Word of God, then you should not be following Islam, you should be following the Quran. And nowhere in the Quran does it say, kill one another. It doesn't say that in the Quran. It doesn't say kill one another. Your Islamic interpretation tells you to kill one another. But the book itself says nothing about that. And this is the Word of God, the Holy Quran. This book is the Word of God. Now, I was able to realize how it's possible that I actually wrote this book. So if Allah is born, and I was born in 1998, if Allah is born on October 6, 1998, what is the world going to do? Well, they don't know about it yet. But believe, I do hold the belief that there are people out there who know that I'm here. I have no evidence of such a thing, but I am able to believe through my logic. And if you don't understand me, I spend 100% of my time figuring things out, going through my logic, but also since I realized I was the Cold War, I've become analog. And by something called rites of spring, I'm able to say things that bear no weight on the world. So as a result of this, I still understand how it's possible I could have written this book, the Quran. So let me explain that to you if I can remember, because I haven't thought about this in a long time. Essentially, I, by being born, had brought by my own experience the universe through myself. Thus, I had brought the Quran into existence in this method through my own solipsistic experience. Thus, I was able to have written the Quran, and the Quran, I do believe, is the Word of God, or my word, in other words. And what are the implications if you are Allah? What are the implications? If Iwakura is Allah, and this is what I believe, that Iwakura of Seal Experiments Lane is Allah, I believe I'm Iwakura, so I must be Allah. And what are the implications of such a thing? Well, the implications are very dangerous. I never tell anybody I think I'm Allah. I never tell that. I don't even tell my mother. Well, actually, I told her once, but she just brushed it off and said, that there's no way. Because there's no way. I brushed it off, or she brushed it off, but it's like, there are very dangerous implications if you say something like this. And not only if you say something like this, because of course any human could say this. Any human could say, they were Allah, even though they're not. Because you know that a human is not Allah. But I have physical evidence to back up the fact that I am not a fucking human. Pardon my language, I shouldn't cuss. But I have physical evidence to back up the fact I am not a human. If my body was analyzed, they would be able to see there are things going on with my body that a human could never have, such as an intersex anatomy that is impossible in humans. What with the uterus connected to my anus, and wet that comes from my anus, and periods that come from my anus through this tube that is connected from the uterus to the anus, along with the dick and balls. Not only that, but also things growing on my back, like wings or a tail that I believe that they are. Or the fact I have a third eye that I can actually see out of. I can see through this third eye, and thus I have a sort of triangular vision. Then on top of that, I have fur on my head. I've been able to feel it with my fingers. There is fur on my head and hard parts that I believe are antlers, sort of like a deer. And my mother knows these hard parts on my head are there. She doesn't really know about the fur, but there is fur beneath my hair. So I was worried about getting a haircut for that reason, because I didn't want to damage the ears that are on like the top of my head. And it's like I have physical evidence to back up the fact that I'm not a human that can literally be analyzed and noticed. My mother noticed it. She also felt the wings on my back. My doctor believes they are just strong muscles. But why do they continue to get larger? Why do I feel pain and sensations in them? And also pain and sensations in my tail that is on my lower back. Then there's also things going out of the side of my body, which I believe are sort of like fish fins. And there might even be gills someday. Who knows? Because apparently I'm also a brook trout, given that I have raindrops tattooed on my face. In a way, I'm sort of like a living artificial intelligence, but I'm not a living artificial intelligence, because that would be mad insulting to say such a thing about myself if I am a real person. So what are the implications? Well, the implications would be that if I was really Allah, and the world as it stands does not know this, but I believe that there are some people who do, the implication is that you could probably get killed. If someone finds out, or if the world finds out, I'm certain there will be a lot of motive to murder me. I will be in a world of shit. And if these wings on my back and extremities and ears on my head and horns, or I mean not horns, but antlers, as soon as they grow in about, I don't know, it'll probably take like, if I do live long enough for these things to be visible to others, then they might actually listen to what I have to say, because they are there, and they're just very small because they just started growing about a couple of years ago. And my body also shrunk over the course of time. If you notice, if you look at my older videos, my skull was larger than it is now. And I've also gotten shorter. I've shrunk about 1.5 inches. And my skeleton has become more like rounded, and my skeleton evolved. I have pointed teeth like a dragon, because I am a dragon. Allah is a dragon. Now, what term, if I'm not a human, do I use to describe this body? Well, I am a dragon. My physical body is a dragon and can be analyzed from the outside, but only from the outside by my physical body. Though technically, as Iwakura, I do experience that I have no body. So it's a very Iwakura thing to say that you don't have a body. You only have a mind. And that's precisely what I experience in life. Not only do I hallucinate SEAL Experiments Lane things like related to SEAL Experiments Lane, but I have so many. I am Iwakura. You have no clue what I've been through. If you understood what I had been through, you would understand that I was Iwakura. You would be like 100%. If you had experienced what I had been through in my life, you would 100% believe I'm Iwakura. But there is a person, according to my schizophrenia, who has actually experienced everything I've experienced, and she is Aaron, and I have a tattoo of the name Aaron on my hand. So there is someone who might also be in danger, given the fact that I am Allah. And what then will I do? I mean, just listen to the way that I speak. The way that I speak is Jade Lest, and Jade Lest is my thoughts. My thoughts are Jade Lest of myself. And the reason I speak like this, and the reason I have such interesting and brilliant ideas, such as Norism allows you to interpret things so complicated. I could even interpret things such as the physical world. I could interpret philosophy. I could interpret mathematics. I could interpret quantum physics, all with Norism. And you're telling me that's not the most brilliant philosophy of all time? When also the language of Noor, by the language of Noor, I'm able to read the Quran in its intended message. So originally the book, everybody knows the book is written in Arabic, right? But you can actually read the Arabic that's written in the Quran in the language of Noor and translate it to English and see what it means there. And people aren't aware of that. If I'm Allah, I'm the only one able to do that. And I also developed a writing system for my language of Noor. That just popped up and I already knew how to do it. And I developed better handwriting skills. And I made videos about it before. Now I'm providing you with as much evidence as possible that Lady Iwakura is a real person. Lady Iwakura is Allah. And I will probably get murdered for saying this. But we're going to do it anyways because that's so much fun. We're going to risk my life so I can get the fucking message out there to one person who might decide to murder me. And as a result of this, I'm very worried about posting this video. But as you understand, I don't really give a fuck. I want the world to know. So I have the Holy Quran here, and that's what I've been staring at this whole time. What else can I really say? I don't know what else to say.